It is kind of true, like definitely, like as I've got older and fished more, that's definitely become more, I guess, relevant. It used to be about trying to catch fish, just fish, that kind of stuff. And then yeah, more and more now, it's more about the experience and who you're with and where you go and all that kind of good stuff. Social media has a way of making you think that everyone who comes to New Zealand or lives in New Zealand just goes out fishing and catches huge fish every single time, and that's absolutely not the case. Like,
wow, that's great.
it's one of those things that if you want to target those big fish, you don't see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes of that picture or that video or that reel on Instagram. Like you could be excused for thinking it's easy. And it's really not easy. All the planning, all the preparation, all the time and money and the time spent going to places and not getting your timing right or getting an opportunity and blowing it. Yeah, it's actually a really difficult thing to do. Yeah, that's one of the big things. You kind of plan all these trips and you just don't know whether or not you're gonna be there at the right time, the weather's going to be okay, the conditions are going to be okay. There's so many variables that goes into these kind of trips, and that kind of adds to the, I guess, the specialness of it. That's a real word, specialness.
Nice. Yeah, wicked.
It was a plan. The plan was, we came up with a plan. I was fishing with Hans. It would have been like before COVID, we were talking about this, and throughout COVID, we were talking about it. We kind of came up with this idea of how cool would it be if we could go on a trip and each try and catch a double figure fish in that same trip. And that's what this ended up being. Basically, my plan was to fly into the South Island where the boys were going to meet me at the airport, then we're going to jump in the truck, do another few hours drive to our destination, and then hope everything kind of turned out in our favour. These trips are, you just have to kind of put everything in place and then pull the trigger and commit, and then whatever happens, happens. I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with people, one, that are positive, two, if potentially they're better than you at what you're trying to do, encouraging and just a good, positive environment. And for this trip, like, you couldn't really pick two better people to go and do this kind of stuff with. First off, you got Hans.
What's up?
Who, hands down, is probably one of the best fishermen I've fished with. I think anyone that gets a chance to fish with him should. Wherever you put him with a fishing rod, he can find a fish, and pretty quickly too. He's just a fishy dude. Just to fish with him makes you a better fisherman. And then there's Mike. Mike is probably one of the most well-known people, I'd say, in New Zealand fishing.
How are you? How's it going? Bloody good.
Like, if you fish in New Zealand, you've probably heard of Mike Kirkpatrick. Knows his fishery really well, very good at what he does, great at filming. He's put a lot of good content out there. He's a wealth of knowledge, and you can draw from, and the same as Hans. Like, you just fish with him and you up your game because you're trying to like maintain that level of, like, you know, skill. So as far as two people to pick to go on a trip with, like, especially a trip like this, yeah, couldn't really ask for anybody better. We've been talking about this for a year or two. And then kind of COVID got in the way a little bit of our plans, but as soon as we kind of could make that all happen, I jumped on a plane, went down to the South Island where the boys met me at the airport. They picked me up, and then we did another substantial drive to where we were going to go. So we were going to dump our stuff, and we had maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours of daylight. So we thought we'd rip out, have a look at a couple of tributaries in the area just to gauge how things were looking. And then, yeah, just kind of get a feel for things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So we hit one little creek, kind of close by, and we kind of worked our way up there in the rain, fishing around. Caught some small salmon, which was kind of cool. Never caught salmon before.
Oh, wicked. I haven't caught a salmon before.
What, tanky?
Yeah, that's my first salmon.
What, ever?
Yeah,
Of any type?
yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Oh, wicked. What's with the black mouths, eh?
Yeah, amazing, aren't they?
That is cool. See you, buddy. Go on, get out of here. Get out of here.
A colour up brown, that long.
Awesome.
Through a car. No, he's gone out again. There's two. There's two, yeah.
Ah, I see him. Missed him, didn't we? They're good fish.
You're upstream with Mahansy, I think.
I ain't gone.
Oh, that's another salmon, and it's a better one. Has it got spots on it? A little bit.
Yeah, like brown trout spot. Sorry, buddy. Give yourself a drink. Boomtown.
Right under there. Right there.
Bang time. Just going straight through the middle of them. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. When you've been salmon fishing as long as I have, guys.
Oh, God. That is so filthy.
But that was cool. We caught one really good brown, which was really nice, like a real bonus fish, like 6, 7 pound, just ooh, real cool.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I can't get up! Oh, it stinks!
Such a good fish. That's beautiful.
Bang! Look at that. So cool. Get out of here. Alright. I'm done.
And then we bumped over to another river, just a bigger river, like just up the road, 20, 30 minutes up the road to have a look at that. And that was actually quite high in comparison. Like the river was up, there was a bit of color in it. You could just see in the edges, but you're like, oh, so the water table's high. We've had the rain, that could be what we need, which is kind of what, but hopefully with the forecast coming in, it was due to get worse. So our only hope was like, it didn't rain too much that was gonna completely screw us, but we needed enough rain to kind of bump the river levels up to hopefully get some fish pushing up the system. So we were kind of in that fine line of, we need just enough, but not too much. So that's kind of what we left with. We're in with a chance as long as the weather doesn't fuck us. We finished there, and then by about that time we were pretty cold. It was getting dark. We were pretty hungry, so we just went back to the hotel, dumped our stuff, went and got some food, a couple of beers, hatched a plan for the next day, and then yeah, early night, and hoping everything was good for the next morning. Next morning we were up super early, put the big packs on, and we're talking 20, 25 kg packs, because we're going to potentially be in there for like 3 days. We were walking by the time it got to daylight, and pushing up into the valley through the gorge to kind of get to where we needed to start, because we had probably 8 or 10k to get to the hut we wanted to base ourselves at. So we had to kind of manage our time with the daylight that we had. We wanted to fish our way up, but you couldn't take too long fishing your way up, because otherwise you're going to be like, 4k from a hut as it gets dark, and yeah, that's not good. So we started fishing fairly early, and the river was still kind of low.
Too far over, coming over. Gone? No.
The night before, the last river we looked at was quite high. And then when we got to the river we were fishing, it was actually still quite low.
Too late. Oh, yeah, I did. It went in his mouth.
But with the weather coming in, we were hoping it was going to like spike it in the next couple of days and then drop again, and then hopefully that was the push that we needed for fish to be getting up in there and showing themselves.
Got to be so careful on these rocks. They're like ice. With a big pack on, your center of gravity is just all messed up. Just go slowly, take your time. Try not to fall over like a big idiot. Yes! Oh. Thanks, man.
Hold on to.
On the board. Beautiful fish.
We picked up the odd fish. Like, as the day went on, we all got on the board with small fish, 5-6 pound fish, which is awesome, but like not what we were there for. We were hoping to see like big fish. And as the day wore on, we were like, oh, maybe we're a bit early, maybe there's not enough rain, like not quite sure what we're gonna get out of this.
Nice. That'll be the one.
Hey! Oh!
Ooh, that's a clean fish, that one on the inside, eh? Really clean. Ooh, shot forward, yes, nice!
As the day wore on, we picked up the odd fish here and there, and as we got later into the afternoon, you could definitely see that weather coming down the valley, like this big, dark, Mordor-looking weather front just kind of slowly creeping down the valley. And that was the rain that was forecast that we wanted, but like we were a bit nervous about as well, because it was looking pretty average. But like as we kind of got into the afternoon, you could feel the temperature drop. The clouds started rolling in, got a bit misty, got a bit rainy, which was kind of good, but we still weren't really seeing a great deal. Maybe a couple of hours from dark, we saw the first really big fish on the inside that looked really kind of pretty substantial. And yeah, so we we basically got into position, and he did his thing, and all of a sudden the daylight changed.
Hang on, Hans. He's just down here, bro. Well, we were going down there anyway.
Pretty much as soon as Hans hooked up, we knew it was a big fish.
But it takes fucking 100 years to get that one on the bank.
And then the fish came out the water, and that's when we first got a really good look at it, and we were like, oh,
Let's go downstream.
okay.
That's where we're going.
What happened was when the fish came out the water and went back in, it got wrapped up in the line slightly and ended up laying on the line.
If we can get down there, we'll be pretty shallow, eh?
And so he had no control over it. So all we could do was just follow it downstream. Hans just doing his absolute best to control an uncontrollable fish in fast water. Running down, trying to somehow guide this fish out of the fast flow onto some sort of an inside edge. I managed to get way down below Hans and the fish, and was sort of running downstream and across to try and intercept this fish. It's a lot of hard work to stay mobile and fast in a river that is pumping as you're just trying to navigate this thing without falling over.
Just over 12.
Yeah, with that fish on the board, and I think that fish was like, I don't know, 12 pounds or something stupid. So that was awesome. So we were on a bit of a high from that, and then basically from there, we had a bit of a celebration, and then we kind of pushed up to the hut, dumped our gear, and then we ran back out for like the last hour and a half of light, because we just figured with the rain coming in, if it did blow out overnight, this could be the last chance we get to fish, so we'll just make the most of our daylight. And we pushed up from the hut and had a look around, and I think we even saw another fish, to be honest, after that. I think we just looked around, got cold and a bit wet, and then, yeah, went home. Yeah, so overnight, I remember waking up probably 3 or 4 times to just the sound of like torrential rain on the roof. Those huts in the backcountry, with their tin roofs, everything sounds 8 times as loud. So I woke up and it was just like, oh my God. we've got what we wanted, but too much of it. But anyway, went back to sleep, and then we woke up in the morning, and as it got light, it was really apparent that like we'd had a lot of rain. There was fresh snow on the hills, like real low, and you could see, even just looking out from the hut, like the river was like way up. We're the only ones here. We've obviously got time. Everything doesn't look too great. We'll just take our time. We'll re-rig everything. We'll have some coffees, we'll talk some shit. We rigged up a couple of streamer rigs because it looked like if we're going to be fishing, then maybe some big streamers might be the way to move some fish, especially if we can't see. So we did that, we took our time. Eventually we kind of put the waders on and went out there, and it was cold, man. Like the temperature was, like you feel the snow on the ranges, like it just dropped the temperature like significantly. So we went out and it was raining and it was cold and it was pretty average, but well, we were there. So what else are you gonna do, right? And once we got on the river, it was quite interesting because although it was up and pumping, it had like a lot of color in it, you could still see in like the first maybe 2 feet of the edges, like kind of. And within about, I don't know, 10 minutes of getting to the river, like we actually saw a couple of smudges moving. So obviously the fish had been pushed into the inside, which is kind of what we wanted. And it turned out as the day went on, it worked quite well with the overcast conditions and the good kind of backdrop that we could actually see quite well. So you kind of take your time and move up, and you could actually see, if a fish was big enough, you could see the smudge moving. So we had a couple of shots at fish that I don't think went too well. But eventually, Hans, surprise, surprise, was the first one on the board again. Like he's just that guy, you know. Like, oh yeah, come and put up, jump. There we go, fish. And I think he got on the board. It was like a 5-6 pound fish, you know, another small one.
Nice. There's 2 in there.
Another one took off.
Yeah.
It's actually not too bad a fish either.
Yeah, that's good fish.
I'll get it out.
Thank you. That's a good fish, yeah. 6.
Not a bad fish.
Well done, boys. And then up. And then down.
But at least it showed there were fish around. We'd seen a couple of fish, we'd caught a couple of fish, so it was all good. Between looking up the edges and then just covering the water we couldn't see with big streamers, we just kind of split up and just kind of moved around and just started to try and like cover as much water as we could.
Yeah, I mean that should be down his throat, right there. There, yeah. Oh. It was in the right place, wasn't it? It might be a bit far left.
Mike did hook and lose a really good fish, like that we could see, because we worked him for a while and he was moving around, and it was like it was a big smudge. Like, yeah, it was decent.
He's kind of opposite me now. Is that him? That's him?
And eventually he hooked it for like
Oh,
a second or two.
oh.
And then it popped off. So yeah, that went well.
Ouch. Oh. There was a fish, eh? Well done, my brother. You did see him, eh?
Fabulous, mate. There you go.
Nice and under.
As the morning kind of went on, we moved some fish on streamers, caught a couple here and there, but again, just not the really big models we were there for. Until maybe mid-morning, we were kind of working up an edge, and then we saw something good right, right, almost under the undercut bank. Like we just saw it move out and come back. And yeah, Mike was up, and he put in a couple of casts, got the drift right, and you saw the smudge come out, lifted, and then all of a sudden, he's connected to something huge in this big, fast, open river where you just basically have, well, no choice but to follow. That got exciting pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Nice big. This is the one.
You rolling?
Yep. Going out. Yes! Here we go, son. Well done, Mike. This is what we're here for.
Oh shit. Yeah, Danny, watch.
It's okay.
Line too.
We'll just get him in the shallow stuff, we'll do it. Ready? Yeah! Great net job.
What a neat job, man. Oh, well done, mate. Look at you. I could kiss you.
That's a great fish, son. Hansy, well done, son. Well fucking done.
I was going to sit here and suck it in for a second. Oh, that's what we came for.
That net job that Hans did on that fish, like he was out in that fast water up to like here, just waiting, and that fish kind of came down, up onto the surface, and he just swooped in, man, and just, yeah, it was an awesome net job. And I was like, oh, okay. He got that fish, and I think we were looking at like another 11, 12 pound, like ridiculous fish, and just glowing kind of gold, especially, you know, like in the overcast, rainy, miserable days, you know, like a bright colored net or something really pops, and it just glowed in the water. It was awesome, man. It's an incredible fish. So Hans was on the board, Mike was on the board, so we were getting pretty close to what we set out to do. The next big fish that came along, next chance, was going to be mine.
Ooh.
The day wore on, the weather came in, the rain was coming and going, and it was getting colder. We had a couple of other smaller fish, you know, around that kind of, 4 or 5 pound mark.
That's a cute little bugger. Probably bait for the other fish, but
And then eventually, maybe early afternoon, came across something big on the inside. So I worked through a couple of fly changes, added some split shot, did some chopping and some changing, and eventually got the drift right with the right fly, came tight, and then again I was in fast water on an outside bend, and the fish just turned and just went.
Yeah, no, it's...
So it was just a matter of you either hang on to it until you snap it off, or you put your running shoes on and start jogging back down to the truck.
Hey? Yeah, it will be. Not doing anything on this high wall, are we? No. Got that second fly to worry about. There he is.
And every time we came to a little undercut bank and try and get under it, we'd try and get him out straight into the fast flow, and then it was just, as far as you could see down and around the corner, it was just fast water.
Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. Here we go.
What's the road? Flying on the line.
Yeah, it's not making it easy to move him at all. Where are we going to end up? I don't really know.
in the fast water, you might just
We ran hard for, I don't know, man, hundreds and hundreds of meters.
There's nothing I can do with them at the moment. Just fast water everywhere. Line on the line.
And then eventually, again, Hans got in there, downstream, into the fast stuff, and as we kind of came round the bend, he was in there with his Superman swooping.
Oh, 2 for 2, Hansy! Well done, man. That's just...
Done. Done. Done.
In today's worders.
Done. Other words. It's done. Mate, well done. Your net jobs today have just been outstanding.
Cool, man. And that was me, like, I think, again, that was like a 12-pound fish. It was stupid. That's more double-figure fish, I think, than I caught myself in the last, 3 years. Between 3 of us. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So with that fish in the net and released, like you say, basically the mission was done. Like, we'd done it. And so the vibe changed a little bit from sort of, we were all casual and having fun, but we had a mission to achieve. And with that last fish, everything just kind of went way more casual.
chasing.
Before the end of the day, we found another big fish. Hans came over, worked his magic, and then he was in again.
Oh. I'm in for a ride now, boys.
This fish, again, he hooked him fast water. It was a big downstream scramble. And it points out the teamwork that's involved in this kind of fishing too. Like if we'd hooked these fish on our own, I think the chances of landing them would have been minimal at best. So, you know, it kind of highlighted one guy is fishing to the fish, hooks the fish, but then you have two other guys running around. One's on a net, the other one's kind of in between, communicating and passing on information between everybody so everyone knows what's happening.
Might be a chance here, Mike. No, it's coming.
And to land some of these fish in that fast water, man, like, you needed at least two of us. And then probably the third running around shouting like a little girl. But like, adds to the excitement, you know what I mean? Like you need that extra person, you need that teamwork, and all this stuff about like if you don't net it yourself, that's bullshit. Like stuff like that, it helps.
Yeah! Woo!
If you can utilize other people, absolutely do it, because it's better for everyone and the fish too, for sure.
Well done, everybody.
Hans hooked and we landed that fish. So that's now 3 trophy fish in a day and 4 over 24 hours. We were stoked. From then, we were pretty much, if it rains overnight and blows out, it doesn't matter. We really don't give a shit anymore. Like we've done what we came to do, and that was pretty cool feeling, to be honest. And like we caught that fish, we fished for a bit longer, and then nothing much else really happened. We weren't seeing really too much else, and we were getting cold. We were getting tired, we were getting hungry, the rain was setting in, so we were like, okay, cool, we'll can it, we'll go back to the hut, we'll dry everything out, we'll regroup, we'll eat, we'll get another early night, and then hope that the river level drops a little bit overnight and see what happens like for the last day.
Okay, last morning, gonna walk down a little bit, fish back through the water that we fished yesterday, just because it's lower and clearer, we're gonna see a lot more. And there was fish here. And then we'll push up a bit, grab our stuff, walk out tonight.
Yeah, it's coming back.
That's a small fish in front of him, eh?
Again, moved out, split the river between us, fished different water, picked up the odd, again, smaller fish. We're all pretty casual by now because, you know, job done, right?
Got him. Oh!
And then about maybe mid-morning, working up this bank, and we found something ridiculous.
That's huge, dude. It's like a meter long. He's sitting like right in front of the rock there. Hey? Yeah, I reckon. It's up there. Yeah, I think it was something to do with that other fish. Hey? He slides in by this. Got it. Holy shit! Dude! Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
So you can tell when the pressure's on because everything just goes quiet. Like there's no jokes, there's no banter. It's just all of a sudden everyone's got their game face on.
Yeah. Ooh, for it.
You don't really have any say in it for the most part.
Away from there.
You're not gonna bully that fish away from that snag, and you're not gonna, you know, make it come over here.
Ooh.
It's just too big and powerful, and you know, we're fishing with 4X here. So a lot of the time you're just sort of along for the ride, and you're just trying to like problem solve and navigate what's happening as it happens.
Come forward.
I don't think there's anything. It's gone right under the snag.
Feels quite solid.
And you're just sort of waiting for an opportunity to somehow have some input into what's happening, somehow turn things your way just for a few seconds. And that might be enough that you can get it done.
Something just gave.
Right?
Something just gave.
He's there, he's coming out.
Yep.
Yep, let him run down.
Maybe down by those rocks, eh? Yeah. I'm gonna come this way, see if I can. Hang on. Oh! What's that? Oh my god! Good net job, bro. Good
I
net.
tried, but he got stuck in the net.
I know.
I don't actually know what to say. I mean, that's what this trip was all about. That's why we came here. That's why we put in all the effort and the time and the money, and so often it just doesn't come together. I mean, just, you know, more often than not it doesn't come together, and it just did. In spectacular fashion. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Great team effort. I'm stoked.
I mean, to finish off a trip like that, I mean, you couldn't have written it any better. Not only have we already done what we set out to do, on the last morning before we leave, we finish it off with a fish like that, and that was like teamwork. We didn't really carry on fishing. I mean, what was the point? We're not going to top it. So we basically just kind of casually worked our way back up to the hut, grabbed all our stuff, and then just kind of walked out and finished on that note, which was just the perfect way to end a trip like that. Really, the experience as a whole is what made it so good. You know, it was the planning, it was the fact that we'd talked about it for so long and we'd planned it for so long, and you know, it was all that build up and that anticipation and all the things that could have gone wrong and all the variables that, you know, came into play, that it eventually did work out. I think that made it so much more special than just the fish that we caught. Yeah. But it was pretty incredible to do what we did. That's not something normal. That many big fish between 3 anglers in such a short time is pretty amazing. But I think, yeah, the next thing we'll be chasing will just be a different experience rather than a different fish.